I am Rob from iTech Pickers. How are you this morning? Well, I was watching the three Pinocchios this morning, giving their so-called update on the coronavirus situation. We are Friday the 28th of February right now. And of course, when you look at the numbers outside of China, of course, uh, cases are slowly going up, slowly and steady. And the coronavirus is now spreading to pretty much every country in the world. And you've got pockets here and there. There's even one in my province, in Montreal, and of course with our open borders policies, because we have a far left prime minister who's got these open border policies of letting everybody flood Canada. It was only a matter of time before we started getting cases here in Canada. And of course, there are probably a lot more that we don't know about yet. And it seems that it's almost impossible to do tests for coronavirus here in Canada. There's only one laboratory in the whole country who does them. So that tells you how prepared we really are. And they're telling us on the news to stock up on food and stuff like that. What I've been telling like 3 weeks ago, now they're starting to tell people that. And of course, the three Pinocchios from the World Health Organization, they're still pretty much still keeping the same narrative as they've been having since the beginning of these updates, praising China. Yeah, now the new trend is that China like magically cured this disease, and they're recovering, and everything's fine now, and they're gonna start. The factories are gonna start again, and everybody's gonna sing "Kumbaya." But the truth is, no one yet has independently verified the status of the infection, the outbreak in China. They're still relying on the numbers that the Communist Party is giving them. They haven't been to Wuhan. They don't know shit about what's going on in China right now. But they repeat the same numbers to the rest of the world as if it's the truth. And pretty much everybody knows by now that these numbers are complete lies. And they've probably got close to 100,000 people that have died already in China. Millions of infected. But these three Pinocchios just keep repeating the lies to the rest of the world. And of course they're gonna keep that narrative, because they've lied from the very beginning. These people are the very people responsible for this pandemic, because they've created this pandemic by lying. Because if they had been honest about it, we could have done things, but they've lied. They've lied for so long. They've got a budget of in the millions and the billions of dollars, so they can lie as long as they want, and they're getting paid for it. You're paying for it with your tax dollars, by the way. And as they say, there's a Russian proverb that says, "With lies you can go ahead in the world, but you can never go back." Which means if you start lying, at some point you need to keep lying. You can't come back on your lies. So that's what the World Health Organization are doing right now, and they will do it to the very end. Same thing with the Communist Party in China. They've lied about the numbers from the very beginning. So now they can't come out on the news and say, "Hey, I think we made a little mistake." Actually, we don't have 200 and 2,000. We don't have 2,800 people dead. We've got about 100,000 people dead. I'm sorry about this. They can't do that. They can't admit their fault. They can't admit their lies. So they're gonna stick with them to the very end. And it's estimated that there may be, like, within a year, it's very likely that there will be a regime change in China, if there's any China left, because they have not contained this. I'm sorry to tell you. Uh, these This idea that the outbreak has been contained in China, that is being parroted by the three Pinocchios from the World Health Organization, it's a complete lies, and you will see the truth in the coming weeks and in the coming months. So I will keep repeating the truth, just like I've been saying for 3 weeks now, maybe more. Uh, and I will stick with the truth because this is exactly what's going on right now in China. Uh, and Still now it's been 2 months from the beginning of this outbreak, and no one has been able to enter China and independently verify the situation there. The CDC has not been there. The United States have not been there. And China is still arresting any journalist or any YouTuber, blogger who says things that are contrary to what the Communist Party wants to claim. So it's totally impossible to get the truth right now, today. So mark my words, the statistics from China are complete lies, and they are still complete lies now, 2 months after the beginning of this outbreak. And now, one big consequence of these lies, and I'm gonna repeat myself, I've been making videos about this, and it's the most important part, is that the world has prepared itself according to the numbers, the fake numbers that were given by China. And now that the disease is spreading outside of China, we are starting to get the real numbers and seeing the truth. Look in South Korea. It's been less than a week. Then this has started less than a week ago, and now they're at 2,333 cases, and it's gonna go up. It's gonna go up by thousands. Every day they're reporting like 500 new cases. Uh, and you see South Korea with 2,000 cases reporting 571 more cases, because South Korea, the thing is, they are extremely transparent on the numbers and what's happening. They've decided to play the card of honesty. And this is why the numbers are so high, because they're brutally honest in their assessment. But if you look, they've had 571 new cases yesterday, while China, with a total case of 78,000, they're only reporting 335. I mean, shouldn't that give you a clue about the amount of lies that are coming from this country? The statistics from China, complete lies. But the problem is that these good people from the Pinocchios at the World Health Organization, the CDC, the American CDC, they are preparing their response with the numbers coming out of China, which are lies. So they're preparing a response that's totally inadequate. So you see, in South Korea, 2,337 cases so far, 16 deaths so far. All right, 16 deaths, 24 people recovered. That's the end result. All right, you get 16 people dead out of this, and 24 people who have recovered so far. Look in Italy, now 21 people dead, 821 people infected, 46 people recovered. The Diamond Princess 6, Iran 34 people dead. Of course, Iran. It's kind of obvious that they're not reporting the real thing, and it's one of those rogue nations like China who control the numbers, and it's obvious that we can't rely on the numbers from Iran. There may be like 50,000 people infected right now, but they will not tell us. One official the other day said there were like 50 people dead, then that was retracted, then and now we hear about officials at the top level being infected, the health minister. We can't. We're gonna have so many surprises coming from China, from Iran, just like it was in China. They will try to suppress the numbers. They will probably kill a lot of people who are infected. So, there's nothing to do with these rogue regimes, except that to pray that one day that their population is gonna revolt and it's gonna go away. But that's what it is. But it's still 34. They're still reporting 34, so that means there's probably a lot more. Japan 5 out of 226, and 32 recovered. And now this is spreading to the rest of the world, like Switzerland, Austria, Greece, some cases in Africa, I think, Algeria, whatever, Brazil. So this is spreading to the rest of the world, and this is happening pretty much the way I saw it at the beginning. But the point is, if you look at the people dying compared to the people who are recovering, well, now we have a big surprise here, right? And I'm gonna show you my calculations for the day, because I do in fact calculate every day the mortality rate of this disease, basically. And what you got to do to calculate that, you need to look at the number of people dead in respect to the people who have recovered, and not in respect to the total number of people who are infected, because this is a disease that can last like 5 weeks. So the majority of these people, the cases, we have no idea how it's going to turn out for these people. We've only got an idea of how it turned out so far by looking at the amount of people recovered and the amount of people who are dead. So I do my calculations in respect to the people who are recovered and the people who are dead. So these are my calculations for today. I do the calculation every day. This is February 28th, 2020. There are 84 deaths reported outside of China and 417 people recovered outside of China. That gives you a total of 501 cases. And if you do the math, that's a 16.75% case mortality rate. So I have no idea why you've got doctors, you've got professionals, you've got the mainstream media parroting this number of 2% mortality rate for the coronavirus, when in fact from the information that we have right now, it's 16.75% death rate for this disease. And these are my calculations, So why are they still parroting that 2% everywhere, telling you not to worry, not to, it's not, it's no big deal. It's not, it's like the flu, they're giving you these lies. When in fact, it's not like the flu at all. It's actually worse than the first SARS outbreak of 2003. 16.75% fatality rate. Today, that's what I get in my calculations. So this is the message of my video today. The big lie of China was that it was not so bad. It's not so bad, eh? 2% mortality rate. This has been, I think this has been parroted by the World Health Organization. Now they're not really saying this number anymore because they were totally wrong. But they've spread that number, and now everybody believes that, even though they have no idea why they believe that, right? And as far as the stock market, if you remember in my previous videos before the market crash, I told you that the market was going to crash really bad. The big tumble in equities. Told you about that. Well, and I told you to buy gold and silver, right? So when the crash happened, of course, gold and silver spiked. That was my my account. I was looking at the price of silver, and I think the price of silver went up nearly like 5%. Gold spiked to $1,688, I think. But then the market kept crashing, and it was so bad. Actually, the crash was even worse than I predicted, and it became so bad. The market crash is so bad that gold and silver couldn't hold their position, and they started crashing too. And that's because investors have started liquidating their gold and silver positions to cover themselves, So my position that went up 5% is now down to, I think, is now down $2 from this. It's like it's at 1680 or something. So gold and silver actually crashed because the crash was so bad that even these metals could not hold. So this is just how bad it is in the markets. So I think that at some point gold is gonna recover when the governments start injecting money into the economy to put a band-aid, to kick the can down the road. But yeah, we're looking at a recession now. This is gonna last a long time. So that was pretty much all that I had to say for today. Of course, if you're not subscribed already to my channel, please subscribe and set your notifications to be notified of my videos, because as you know, YouTube is censoring the people who do speak the truth about coronavirus. They're demonetizing and also censoring people. Like I've been censored, and my videos weren't found, could not be found in the search results as a result. So subscribe and so that you can be notified by new videos. And I will see you soon. Be safe, guys.